Aloha and welcome to Your Relationships Reimagined, day one of a 5-day stretch where we're going to throw certain aspects of your relationship with yourself under the microscope. The intention here is to get you out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is that tight, sticky, sometimes sweet because we know it and it's familiar, but that familiar place of, ugh. And I want you to move into stretching, the stretch zone. Not asking you to go into panic. And if anything I suggest feels like too much of a stretch, reach out and get some help. There's help all around you. You can email me at help@amyelizabethgordon.com or reach out to someone in your community. We are going to look at the key ways that we can step into taking ownership for the quality of our life, for actually jumping into a league of extraordinary beings. It is so fascinating to do this work because we get those decisions on a daily basis over and over and over again of how to do that. Today, we're looking at your relationship with food and drink, reimagined. So take a moment in this imagination to consider that you're a queen, to consider that you're a king, to consider that you have taken sovereignty over your realm of what goes in every orifice. And in that, feel really empowered about bringing together your sacred femininity, your sacred masculinity, your decision-making, and your connection to what goes in to make up who you are. What do I mean by this? I mean, you get a chance to hold yourself not too tight, nor too loose, but to get really right size. That was a fun horn out there. I don't know if you could hear it. With really being a person of power and presence on this planet. We're taking it to the next level in our consciousness. And in that, we get to let go of being the prince or the princess, waiting for someone to take us seriously, waiting for someone to rescue us, waiting for the people to pamper us. We get to really take control of the reins. And we also get to let go of being the victim or the pauper. The pauper is that poor person who doesn't take care of himself in the morning. We're looking specifically at food and drink. And I can't tell you how many people I've worked with over the past couple of decades, when they tell me they're anxious and depressed, I say, "What did you have for brekkie this morning?" And they say, "Brekkie? I didn't have time to eat. I'm not hungry. I just had coffee and maybe a couple cigarettes." "Really? Okay. Pause. Let's look." And the purpose of this is not to cast shame, blame, or criticism towards you. It's to really get curious, to throw your relationship with food and drink under the microscopes, look at it, and reimagine that it could be different. What we take in creates what we put out. It's true. So I can share with you a little my personal experience of food and drink in terms of how much do I try to control things and hold on real tight. I've done that. I've been on this end of the spectrum where I go to my naturopath, I get all the blood work, I find out what I'm allergic to, and I tighten down. And everyone around me should do the same thing. And it creates a bit of striving and a bit of edge. I've also been on the other end of the spectrum. Whoa, I'll just eat and drink whatever I want. Caught in the cycle of sugar, dairy, Bacardi rum, throw in a few clove cigarettes, whatever that little concoction was to take me out of the present moment. I didn't know how to handle life on life's terms for a long time. And so I tried to avoid it through self-medication. And it didn't work. In fact, I thought I was too anxious to drink coffee because every time I drank coffee, I got really jittery and then, and I realized I wasn't drinking coffee. I was drinking white chocolate mocha, sugar, dairy, caffeine, and I would, and then I'd fall flat on my face and my stomach would be in knots and I'd feel terrible. When I drank alcohol, I would drink to the point of blacking out, passing out, vomiting. Classic alcoholic binge drinking performance here. And it was devastating because I'd be in that spiral. I would eat the bagel with melted Munster from Bagel Land in Gainesville during my undergraduate. And I would then feel terrible from that. And I'd drink that white chocolate mocha, and then I would drink the Bacardi rum. And it was like this vicious cycle where I was always chasing the avoidance of how bad I felt internally. Emotionally, my thoughts were just crazy. Hormonally, I was hijacked by all this stuff. And you know what? I don't know which comes first. I don't know if depression came first and then I drank alcoholically, or if I drank alcoholically and that made me depressed, because alcohol is initially a stimulant. It helped me be more socially savvy. It was that social lubricant, and then it was also a depressant, and it brought me down. So it's the both and. And I've given up trying to figure out which came first. I just know that I suffered from all of it, from mental instability as well as addictive behaviors. And it was killing me for nearly a decade. Now I'm grateful to say that I'm nearly 25 years this November sober. I don't get chip-faced anymore with a pint of Ben & Jerry's, though I have in the past. And last weekend, it was deep-fried Oreos. Never had them. Somebody comes with a big tray of them to my son's soccer game. It's raining. I'm like, oh, okay. And one, addictive behavior. My brain responded immediately. The dopamine hit, the serotonin, all those neurochemical cascades that get released. I wanted another one. So I had another one. And then I was just like, oh my God, pause when agitated or doubtful, and feel how I feel in my body. And I felt this initial jolt from all the sugar. And then I felt terrible. And I was like, I can't do anymore. But you know what? I didn't do the beat up. So here are the 4 steps to resolve conflict in your relationship with food and drink. I've talked about my own personal experience. I hope that that's provoking you to think about your own. Trust. How can you trust yourself to keep your word to yourself, to be impeccable with your word? The invitation is to make one declaration daily of what you're going to stick with. Mine is quite simple. Close the kitchen as early as I can. It's kind of hard when there's 6 of us here living in the house, different schedules, whatnot. We try to eat 5:30, 6 o'clock at the latest, and then close the kitchen. If I'm eating late at night, there's a good chance it's emotional eating. If I'm eating late at night, there's a good chance I'm going to wake up feeling really hungry the next day, which is so bizarre. You would think the later you eat, you wouldn't have to eat so soon the next day, but my system is different. My liver needs time to metabolize, and I'm guessing yours does too. Daily detox with that intermittent fast, at least between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. That's what works for me. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm sharing some suggestions with you to reevaluate, reimagine your relationship with food. Reevaluate, reimagine your relationship with drink. Can you trust yourself to do a social experiment of, maybe I don't need alcohol to go to that party? I've heard Tony Robbins predicting that alcohol will be the next smoking, that drinking will be the next smoking, that it's falling out of favor, that it's becoming known how unhealthy it is. I don't know about all that. I know as a recovering alcoholic, for me to drink is to die, whether it happened straight away or the long, arduous death that my grandmother had as she died of cirrhosis. Either way, I just know the world's a better place if I don't drink alcohol. I invite you to consider if that's at all true for you. It's not for me to determine that, but for you to get curious about your relationship with alcohol and where are you trying to get out of the present moment. The present moment is pregnant with possibilities, pregnant with the potential of peace. Try it. I also invite you to look at your relationship with hydration, water. Dun, dun, dun. Here's my trusted friend. This water bottle has been with me. It's all dented, and so when I put a lid on, it leaks mercilessly, but 32 ounces. I do 2 of those a day minimum, half the body weight in ounces of water a day. Hydration challenge. Are you up for it? Green drinks, another non-negotiable for me. Great way to get fiber and vegetables and proteins, and my beloved husband makes green drinks most mornings of the week, Monday through Friday. I miss them on weekends. Sometimes I make them for myself. Herbal teas, tulsi tea, primal herb, mushroom teas, the rishis and the neurogen. I do a lot of medicinal beverages, as well as hot water with lemon to start my day. I just think we have a wealth of opportunities to keep our inner waterways clean. And as somebody who's passionate about cleaning up our oceans and our rivers and our lakes, why not start here? So that's where I get to develop that first step of trust myself. The next step is focus on myself. There's my business and there's none of my business. When I'm hounding my kids and my husband about their hydration, it probably means I'm thirsty. And you can ask them this. I sound like a broken record, and I'm not proud of this, but I am so passionate about hydration. My dear friend Summer knows this too. So focus here. Whatever it is that I think needs to change in someone else, it's a golden opportunity to love that up in myself. Because you spot it, you've got it. There's something in me. So it's a great heart tenderizer. This is all about developing heart health. It's about reimagining your relationship with an extraordinary life. I think my husband needs to drink more water. Maybe I need to drink some more water. Next is repair. Those times when I do go beyond my preferred eating or drinking plan and it doesn't quite look the way I would like it to look, I can beat up on myself, but that's probably not the best thing to do, because self-aggression is the root of my dis-ease. It's the root of my alcoholism. It's the root of my poor dietary choices when I go to them. It's emotional eating. It's self-medicating. It's not feeling good about myself. And so I get this temporary hit, long-term consequence. That's addictive behavior. That Bacardi and Coke used to feel really good, and it didn't get me where I wanted to go. It landed me in some pretty sordid places. My boys and I looked up the word sordid this morning. They have a new word in their vocabulary. SORDID. For me, alcohol, Bacardi equals sordid. So I get to repair. I get to bring the stone. Remember the heart? I do this practice a lot. Drop the stones of resentment from the heart. Put all that negative energy in there and boom. Drop it. Get rid of it. It's toxic. Having resentments is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, particularly resentments toward yourself. I've had to cure and treat and heal self-aggression by daily self-care. I'm a self-care queen, hydration queen, and I believe those are some of the key essential ingredients to the foundation of the quality of life I have. Today I have an extraordinary life. And you can too. Repair. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Repair towards yourself during this journey of exploration. And repair towards others. That may be just the thing you need to stretch. I get to say that to my husband. I'm sorry, I'm pushing you about your alcohol or your water or your exercise or whatever it is. It's like, brings me back to that focus. It's my business or it's none of my business. It's tricky stuff, but worthwhile. The last step here is faith. Trust, focus, repair, and faith. Faith that everything's going to be okay no matter what. Faith that I'm eating good enough food. Faith that if I get a little, what was in the bread last week, I thought I was eating taro bread, kalo bread, and it had food coloring in it. And I could freak out about that, or I could choose faith and just surrender. I'm doing my level best, and it's good enough. Faith is that inner conviction of, Faith is having a blessing towards everything I put into my body. And sometimes it's an actual verbal blessing when we sit down at dinner. Thank you to the animals and the vegetables and the minerals for this meal. By Earth's bounty, our existence is nourished. Let us use our energy for the benefit of all beings. And see, my body's already thinking like, oh, it's time to eat. Because that's the blessing that I give to the food. That's the blessing that I give to being tenderhearted and right-sized and not too tight and not too loose. Faith is that conviction that I don't have to figure things out on a daily basis. I know what works. I bring my tray up on a daily basis. If I know I'm doing some heavy duty work in my home office for 3 or 4 hours at a time, I bring it up. I have the hydration available to me so that I don't complain at the end of the day, oh, my head hurts, I didn't drink, because you know what? In addition to be a recovering alcoholic, I'm also a recovering martyr. I know how to paint the picture of woe is me. That doesn't get me where I want to go. So this, my friends, is everyday magic. Being able to reimagine my relationship with food and drink in a positive way. So many of you reach out to me and you want more energy to give to your relationship. You want to clear up negativity. I invite you to start here. Imagine what it would be like if you had the energy, the resources available to you, and you woke up in the morning and you didn't have this nasty coating on your tongue and feel hungry or not eat or whatever the case may be, but just enter your day with grace and ease and recharge your batteries. So I'll end this particular video by saying, as the king, as the queen of your life, you get to eat like a king or queen in the morning, to really give your body the fuel that it needs to hydrate wildly. I also don't drink liquids late at night because I don't want to get up during the night to pee. So I front end this. It's preventative. It's upriver cleanup, if you will, in my own life. I eat a more sensible lunch, and then I try to eat a lighter dinner. If I eat a heavy dinner, you can ask my husband. It tastes so good. I go back and I get another serving, and then I feel bloated and uncomfortable. That's when I still play with from time to time, because the oxytocin, the chemical cascade of my brain of, oh, that tastes really good. I get to bring in that remembering of, oh, something I learned in the Blue Zones Project. If you're not familiar with that, you can look that up. It's the healthiest places to live. And one of them is Okinawa. And we also have that here in Hawaii as a healthy place to live. And in Okinawa, they have a saying, Hari Hachibu. May I eat to 80% full. I don't eat to 100%. I don't need to. I can trust my body will get what it needs, and that I can nourish my soul by inviting spirit to come home, to create this home in my own skin, in my own precious organs, in my own beloved, tender heart, to just know that this is enough. This is enough. And from here, I can feed others. That is the definition of heaven, right? When we have those long chopsticks and we feed each other, I'm feeding you right now. We can't always feed ourselves. We get to rely on the good nature of others and take care of each other. Thank you for letting me be of service. Join me tomorrow. Comment below. Which step spoke out to you of the 4 steps of resolving the conflict in your relationship with food and drink? Is it trust? Is it focus? Is it repair? Or is it faith? I'd love to hear from you how this shows up in your life and what you're declaring to commit to today. You matter. Your relationships matter. Aloha and be well.